Good morning. After we so carefully had everyone be quiet, now we're going to ask you to make some sound. We're going to start right away with the hymn. It's in the Blue Book, Sing Joyfully, and number 433, Near to the Heart of God. And if you'll stand, if you're comfortable that way.
We'll get started. If you would turn your phones to airplane mode or whatever. We actually have our Zoom folks so that we can see them today. So we want them to have full advantage of all of the broadband.
Okay, now we're all warmed up and we're near, we're together. So welcome to all who are here. Mark just told me that. Welcome to all who are here and all who are gathered on Zoom. We're glad to have everyone. We had the turn off message. Now we have the offering message. Our offerings help the meeting meet the annual budget and other things, and includes things that you'll often hear us talk about, like Family Promise, which is a local agency that helps families who are not able to be in a home to have a place to live is really great, and one of the hands-on kind of things we do. And also the Kunat Food Pantry will be gathering food for them later. There are many others. So think about how you might support the meeting. Donations can be placed in the offering plates at the back if you're here at the meeting, or you can go online to learn about other ways to give directly through PayPal or other automatic payments that you might do. Take a moment sometime today to think about how you might help. And now's the time for announcements, and we'll start with the people on Zoom. If there are any announcements, I see heads going this way. Are there any announcements from the people here?
Just a reminder to the folks that are on outreach, we will be having a Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening to work on, we've done our budget for the year and to do some more financial planning for the year. So that's 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. If you are on outreach, you will have received the Zoom link. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. A reminder that next Sunday will be our meeting for business. Will be 7 o'clock p.m. on Zoom, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
And I'm realizing something I forgot to say, which is my name is Cindy Striedelmeyer. And if you have an announcement, to say your name. So you saw Joanne and you saw Anita.
I have posted on the bulletin board out there a couple of sheets of paper that are the essay, the winning essay in the Indiana Friends Committee for Legislation essay contest. Gal from Noblesville that won it. It's an essay about voting. So it's out there on the bulletin board.
Recommended reading from Anne.
Joanne has developed a habit in our marriage, and by placing things that she thinks I need to read at my place at the breakfast table. I don't know if she does that intentionally. I just noticed that these things show up, and one of them this week was a book called The Lives We Actually Have by Kate Bowler and Jessica Ritchie, and it's a group of 100 prayers that are just delightful. And I'd like to read one, and this is for when you're tired of broken systems. Oh God, I am done with broken systems that break the very people they are meant to serve. Harness this anger, channel it into worthy action, and show me what is mine to fix and what boundaries to patrol to keep goodness in and evil out. Blessed are those who are appalled that brute ignorance can so easily dominate over decency, honesty, and integrity. Blessed are we who choose not to look away from systems that dehumanize, deceive, defame, and distort. We who recognize that thoughts and prayers are not enough. We who stand with truth over expediency, principle over politics, community over competition. Oh God, how blessed are we who cry out to you. Empower us to see and name what is broken, what is ours to restore. Guide us to find coherent and beautiful alternatives that foster life, hope, and peace. Help us to use our gifts with one another in unity. Blessed are we who choose to live in anticipation, our eyes scanning the horizon for signs of your kingdom. Heaven, come down as we wait. Amen.
And that is to gather the food that you may have brought to share with the Kunat Food Pantry. So hold it up. Well, if you can. I mean, it's heavy. We're glad to see the baskets fill up and a little hard work have to be done just to get it gathered. Thank you. I've spent a lot of years singing in choirs, playing for services, and generally messing about with hymnals. So this past week, I was messing about with worship in song, that's a green one in the pews, and checked out the topical index to see if there might be a helpful heading for mothers. Nope. Not for fathers either. Not for parents or family. There is a heading for children, and it is underlined. But the key to the topical index says that that means it is age specific. So it's for children to sing. By the way, there's only one other underlined topic heading in that group. It's intergenerational. See children. Does that sound like the work of a committee or what? Anyway, so I began wandering the hymnal in a less organized way and stumbled upon the peace round. And there were children and the prayer of mothers everywhere. If you want to see, it's number 322 in Worship and Song, that green book. You can imagine a lot of the people who've been dear to us saying these words, "Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of us all could dwell together in peace." To honor mothers, sisters, aunts, and the women who have cared for us, dwell together in peace. To honor their prayers for us, dwell together in peace. To honor the children who trust us, dwell together in peace. To honor the earth, so often called our mother, dwell together in peace. To honor God, mother of all life, dwell together in peace. So you got a hymnal open, and you're looking at a song maybe, and it just seems like maybe to remind ourselves we could sing it. So if you're looking at it, you can see there aren't many words, there aren't that many notes. Here's how it sounds. Then you may know it already. Maybe you've been singing this round for years. Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of us all could dwell together in And I always tell people, if you know the last couple of notes, you can always end well. So we're going to learn the last 3 notes. In peace. Try it. In peace. And every time we come to peace, then you're going to take a breath and sing O. So it's going to be in peace. Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of us all could dwell together in peace. Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of us all could dwell together in peace. One more time. Oh, what a goodly thing if the children of us all could dwell together in peace. Someone who loves rounds was echoing it. Let it echo in you.
Well, I don't know how this firefighting thing is going to work out. I was helping Spencer yesterday planting corn, and we had to work on the corn picker, and one of the nuts on there was frozen shut, just solid rusted shut, and I had a big wrench and was bearing down on it, trying to loosen it, and it finally broke free, and I thought, I wonder how good Spencer is at rescuing people. And so I clutched my chest and fell to the ground just to see what he would do, just to see if he was, in fact, a trained EMT, as he claims to be. And he just stepped over me to go to his truck to put back his tools. So I have my doubts. He just stepped right over me. I could have been dying, and he didn't do anything. He probably sensed I was okay when I started laughing. And you never get so old that you don't enjoy pestering your children. Well, I remember this was probably about 30 years or so ago when I was pastoring up in the city. We were approaching Mother's Day. It was a Sunday before Mother's Day. And a woman in the meeting came up to me and said, I hope on Mother's Day you don't talk about how wonderful mothers are, because mine wasn't. My mother was cruel and self-absorbed, so I don't want to hear a bunch of nonsense about the virtues of mothers. And when she told me that, she was rather gruff and intimidating, so when I wrote my sermon, it sounded like a contract with all kinds of exceptions and footnotes acknowledging that some mothers weren't all that good. Mark, I bet you preached a sermon or two like that on Mother's Day. I hedged my bets the whole way through, which I'm certain confused everyone who heard it, trying to actually figure out whether or not I really like mothers. But I'm done with that. If your mother was toxic, I'm truly sorry. Most people parent the way they were parented, teach the way they were taught, raise their children the way they were raised. But eventually, most of us realize that we are not bound by the past, but can transcend it. And so our families gradually, slowly evolve and grow. But others of us don't. We lack self-awareness and remain trapped in poisonous patterns to the detriment of those around us. If that's happened to you, if your parents never rose above the dysfunction and pain of their childhood, I'm very sorry. If it cripples and saddens you still, please get help so you can experience the happiness you deserve. This is another book Joanne placed on our breakfast table, a book called You Really Should Talk to Someone. Just a really fine little book about the importance and blessings of counseling. That's what I should have told the lady up in the city, but I didn't. Mostly because I didn't have it figured out myself. Plus, I was a little intimidated and afraid of her. So I preached like a lawyer instead and have every Mother's Day since. But today I'm going to throw caution to the wind and declare my fondness for mothers, consequences be damned. And not just mothers, but my fondness for women. Indeed, I like women so much that when it was time to be born, I arranged for a woman to deliver me. And over time, that woman and I became very close, and when she died 55 years later, I officiated her funeral. That's how close we were. We were like this. My mom had many admirable qualities. She was loving and intelligent, accomplished, witty, and like many women, possessed these qualities, these virtues, in spite of the men in her life, not because of them. She was a faithful Catholic, but was ill-served by her church. She was a devoted citizen of this nation, but was treated unjustly by its leaders, most of whom were men. She was a dutiful and committed wife, but married to a man who expected her to endure his faults and failings without complaint. She had 5 children who were content to let her wait on them hand and foot, though the demands on her life were always far greater than the demands on ours. My mother wasn't grouchy, though she had every right to be. Neither was she bitter, though she had every right to be. My mother didn't dislike men, though any neutral observer would say she had a right to. She was like most women I know, far better and nobler than circumstances warranted. We've been reflecting lately on the basic tenets of the Christian faith in order to counter the rise of Christian nationalism in our nation. A persistent characteristic of Christian nationalism is its hyper-masculinity, marked by contempt for and fear of women. In its study of the January 6th insurrection, researchers at the University of Chicago reported that 86% of the participants in the January 6th event were men, most of whom self-identified as hyper-masculine, desiring to silence the voices of women demanding equality. Goaded on by Steve Bannon, an advisor to President Trump, who accused women of wanting to, quote, undo 10,000 years of recorded history by advocating for gender equality, which explains why Steve Bannon has been divorced twice and his longest marriage only lasted 3 years. I was talking with a friend about this, and he said, remember when they were telling us that the most dangerous chemical composition in the world was VX gas? He said they got it wrong. It's testosterone. Despite claiming to honor and value women, Christian nationalists, many of whom hold great political power, will not be happy, that is clear, until the voices of women are stilled. They have been aided and abetted by so many in the evangelical and Roman Catholic Church, which I think is despicable. Today, those persons who have declared war on wokeness are more accurately legislating their centuries-old contempt for women and people of color into law, robbing women of their medical freedom, nullifying the votes of Black Americans through gerrymandering. They have cloaked their actions in the flag and the Bible, though their conduct is as un-American and un-Christian as can be. They have been with us for centuries, but now have a microphone and advocates in the highest halls of power. This disparity continues to affect and diminish us across our nation, and especially in this state. Christian nationalists are waging a war against public education, public school teachers and administrators, funneling tax dollars away from public schools into low-performing, privately owned religious charter schools. It is no coincidence that 74% of the nation's public school teachers are women, making far less than career firefighters, only 5% of whom are women. A firefighter in Indiana earns on average 3.5 times what my public school librarian wife earns annually. I am delighted that firefighters earn a living wage, but I smell a rat. And do not doubt for a moment that if men comprise the majority of public school teachers, they'd be as well paid as firefighters, and we would not be waging a war against that institution. To be clear, an attack on public education is at its base an attack on women. This Mother's Day and every day, let us do what so many of our leaders refuse to do. Let us affirm again and again our support for the equal rights of women, and not just for the equal rights of women, but for the dignity and worth of women, for the freedom of women to determine the arc of their own lives without the permission or consent of men. The English writer Rebecca West, when asked to define the word feminism, said, "I myself have never been able to find out precisely what feminism is. I only know that people call me a feminist whenever I express sentiments that differentiate me from a doormat." Our work as Quakers isn't finished until every person, no matter their rank, race, gender, and sexual orientation, is accorded the same respect and opportunities as everyone else. We believe no one was born to be a doormat. We believe that when someone has been pinned to the ground with a knee to their neck, that it is our job as Quakers to remove the knee, to challenge the structures and values that keep others down. Remember when you were a kid in school, when we were kids in school, the day before Thanksgiving break, how we would sing together that song, "Over the River and Through the Woods." Remember that song? Kind of a smarmy little nostalgic song, but they may still sing it, I don't know. But that song was based on a poem by the same name, written by a woman named Lydia Marie Child. What you probably weren't taught is that Lydia Marie Child devoted her life fighting for the rights of women, African Americans, and Native Americans, all of which made her very unpopular in her social circle, but all the more determined. In addition to that poem, she also wrote these words: "We first crush people to the earth and then claim the right of trampling on them forever because they are down." We first crush people to the earth and then claim the right of trampling on them forever because they are down. Every day, but on this day especially, as we celebrate women, let us make doubly sure we hold fast to the virtue of equality that so many in our nation today seem eager to jettison. To keep another person down is never a right. It is a gross and vile sin. This day and every day, may we be numbered in that army of righteousness which seeks the joy and the betterment and the dignity of all people everywhere.
If hearts are clear, we'll look for a song about a Quaker woman we admire, kind of a good list of ways we could all be invited to make a difference, change those systems we're upset with. But what you need to know is it's in the Green Book. It's in Worship in Song, not in Sing Joyfully like it says. So get the Green Book out, and it's number 281. And we'll sing about Lucretia Mott.
circle of friends, we have a saying that she's a PW. She's a powerful woman. I think that pretty well sums that up.
Well, we are thankful and do thank those people who've made a moral difference in our lives. I was eating at Frank's restaurant this week, and a man came up to me who had read something and taken exception to something I had written in the local newspaper. And he said to me, "You never thought that way until you went off to college." And I said to him, "Did you know my mother?" He said, "Yeah, I knew your mother." I said, "Do you honestly think my mother would have allowed me to leave home at the age of 18 if she had not taught me yet how to behave and how to care and how to raise my voice when someone was hurt?" I said, "I didn't learn that at college. I learned that at home from my mother." You might have someone like that in your life. It may be your mom, it may be your father, it may be an aunt or uncle or next door neighbor. Make it a point today, if you are able, to thank them for helping you find the way in life. And remember that just as that has been done for you, do it also for another.
We have flowers.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jimmy. Bring them on in. Women get a flower today. Friends, turn and greet one another. Thank you.